G'day, welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. Today I've got a video, another product video for you. It's our shooting mat. Now it's a shooting mat we've been through with various things as to we've found with old mats we're using, not wanting them to be too much cushioning in that side of things, issues with other mats in the way of being too light and so getting blown away in the wind sort of stuff, letting water through, how much space they took up in the way of packing and travelling with them, all that sort of stuff. All little things that although we've got mats and have had mats for many years that work quite well, there was things that I felt I could do better for ourselves and thought when we're doing that, why not we'll see if we can turn it into a product so the rest of the world can enjoy it as well. So this is what we've ended up with. This is the thing I'm looking at as what we ended up with. Start off with the size type of thing, what it takes up. This is fairly loosely rolled. You can clearly roll it tighter, but you can see it's a small unit. It can actually roll up into a nice tight unit, about 4 inches or 100 millimeters is as tight as you can get it. This is loosely rolled, lazy rolled, and we're at about the sort of 5 inch or just under 5 inches, 4.5 inches sort of thing. So nice and small. In comparison to most, it's about half the size, so it makes it for us packing our truck, for most people with your car or whatever you're carrying your stuff to, it's smaller, it fits in there easily. That's the first bit. Next bit, I suppose, and what we're looking at here is the wrapping it up. We had straps and buckles and bits and pieces on it, and with a lot of bags, a lot of mats, there is a lot of other little compartments and bits and pieces on there, trying to turn into other things. We haven't. This is very simple. Don't like any of that sort of stuff. Simple as possible, so that's what we've gone with. The one thing that isn't quite the way we're going to finish, it isn't quite what the thing is, this has got full Velcro. Listen, it works, but that would pick up grass seeds and things. So that'll actually, the ones we're going to sell, when we get this sorted out, we'll have just a webbing strap with a little bit of Velcro just to actually tie it together, which is only the length that needs to go around in its loose form, loose rolled form. So ignore that little bit for the moment, but let's unwrap those. And we come out from here. I suppose the next bit that's important with this is the get those long straps out of the road. Like I said, a lot better if they're shorter. What I've actually made it out of, it's a high quality polyurethane material. I don't know its proper name. It's actually what they use for Pantex and things like that on trucks, you know, the walls down the side of the trucks, heavy canvas for proper marquees and that sort of stuff. So it's very good quality, heavy duty stuff on the outside here. And there's a couple of layers of modern canvas. One as the side you're laying on, the other as a tiny bit of strengthening to make this thing so there's no squish to it whatsoever, but it still gives you some protection for laying over rocks and whatever you're laying on, you know, not to any major degree. A rock will poke through regardless, but still in general stuff, gravel, that type of thing, the normal sort of paddock area wear in worked really well, and really no difference in the comfort side of things, worked really well. It hasn't got padded areas for elbows and things like that, so if you're really hard ground, then this mightn't be the mat for you. I find it works really well on the hard rock surfaces to the moderately rocky surface, I should say, to dirt surfaces that we're laying on, but designed for that. It is almost completely waterproof. This stuff certainly is. The stitching, there would be points that moisture would be able to push through eventually. We've laid down in wet grass, including wet sheep shit covered grass and dry rocks and sand and everything, and it has worked flawlessly, worked really well. To the level of, because it is a proper canvas, where there is crud all over it because you've been out shooting and dealing with the stuff that you're in, take it out, lay it on the lawn, hose it down. Or if it's dry, just dust it off. Works really well and really happy with how it's performed. I should show you here is the one we did the testing with. This did have the big buckles and bits and pieces on it. I didn't like them for the way we use things. So we went with the lighter stuff there. But this one has been through hell and back, washes off, comes up, still looks like the thing it did when we bought. So, you know, very durable and going to last really well. So that's that. Like I said, its structure means that it's quite firm. It's got a bit of weight to it. It's about 3.5 or just under 4 kilos, so coming up in the 8 pound sort of stuff. So it's got a little bit of weight to it, which means it's doesn't fly away in the wind. One of the other problems we always had with mats is when you lay them out in our windy little spots, you'd be putting rocks on them, things on them, or stuff on them, get the rifle on them so they don't blow away, which we really haven't struggled with this. Not to say it's going to deal with a hurricane or anything, but just that extra weight and stiffness and strength of the thing mean that you lay it down and it lays there, it's done. So really happy on that score for what we wanted. The main structure which I was actually focusing on is the padded sections, which actually then give movement for where your rifle lays, which is a bad thing. This doesn't have any of that sort of stuff. So enough strength to do enough protection for the human, but no squishiness to make it bad for the rifle. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, no pockets, no nothing, no fruit, clean, simple, done on that sort of score. The only little bit we've got is right up at the front here. I suppose two things here, you see how that's curling up. It actually stays doing that the whole time, and the simple process that I do is I grab it every time, roll it out, bend it backwards, and lay it down, and done. They lay down like that. And that hasn't changed. Over 6 months of using it in the middle of as cold as we get, so down to 0 degrees, it hasn't changed how it's behaved. Probably I haven't I've used it in heat too. It was probably a little bit more flexible in the heat, but stayed there nicely. So no issues on that score, and doesn't seem to be changing. The one bit that's different to most mats is there's a little bit of piping up the front here. There's a bit of, I think, 6mm nylon rope in there. It's stitched over. It's actually a little anchor point that you can put your bipod feet against. It's not huge. But it does the job. Does the job to where you just got that point to where you can have your bipod feet on here for conditions where you need that. I prefer to have the bipod feet off if it works, but when you've got soft ground or sand or that sort of stuff, they're going to sink in, they're going to move around, or it hasn't got any traction. This has got traction, so you can actually push them up against here and use this as a traction point. So one of the design features. But other than that, it's just a super simple mat. Now listen, I think that's probably about it. The only negative I've got to go with it, which is full disclosure, it's more expensive than I wanted it to be. To build it out of this material, or these materials I should say, I was hoping to get it in the under 200 Australian dollars, so under 150 US is what I sort of wanted to be able to get it to. I felt it's simple, it's plain, why should it cost more? It could easily cost more. We did quite a bit of work and redesigned and cut it down and got good quotes and all that sort of stuff, and everything was more expensive than this way of doing it, or with these people, so they're doing a good job for us. But it turns into 250 Australian, and which is I think around 180, 190, depend on the US dollars what it turns into. But that is what it is. So I'm not going to try fighting anymore. I'm not going to go and try and build it cheaper to try and build it down to a price. Too expensive. I get it. It's a little more than I wanted it to be, but I got to say I like it. I use them. And if you want one, then they're there. That's what they're going to cost. So apologise for that, but sometimes life's like that. I think that's about it. In the way of using it, really straightforward product. Rolls up. Nice and easy and tight. It's nice and straight, so it does roll up easy. And like I said, well, I'll do that right now. Apart from these Velcro straps, which like I said, are just too big. Turns into a nice little, that's not as tight as I could do, but you see that sort of stuff. That's just like 4.5 inches, easy to carry. Weight, like I said, about the well, like 7.5 pounds, I think it is, that neck of the woods. So for us, we really like them. They're there on our web store. There's a link below the video. Let us know any comments you want to go with it. And if you want one, yeah, come and grab them. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking in on us, and we'll catch you next time.